Hello everyone, welcome to the Books of Morgan. I'm Morgan and today I'm doing a tipsy book review. So I've been talking about wanting to do this video series for a really long time now, and I put it to a vote on whether you wanted me to do a tipsy review of House of Earth and Blood or Six of Crows, and House of Earth and Blood won. And tonight I will be drinking the Velvet Devil. This is a Merlot 2017 from Washington State. I got this at Benny's Beverage Depot, that's a tongue twister, here in Chicago, and I am so sorry if you can hear random noises outside. I do live in a city filled with cicadas and I don't have AC, so I have my fan going, so we're just gonna ignore that. But yeah, I'm gonna get tipsy off of some Merlot from Washington State. I've never had it before. It could be terrible, but you know, it gets the job done hopefully. Has alcohol in it. So I'm going to be going through Crescent City by Sarah J. Maas. I have my tabs ready to go here, and my plan essentially for tonight is to drink and then go through these tabs. Like, I'm literally reviewing this book as I go and pointing out why I only gave it 1 star. So yes, I gave this book 1 out of 5 stars. This is the worst book I've read the entire year. I hated it. Like, oh my god. So bad. It is so bad. I can't even describe to you how bad it is. And the thing that kills me is that everyone has been giving it like 5 stars. Well, I'm going to tell you why it shouldn't be 5 stars, because I have a million tabs why it's so bad. And the thing is that I do love Sarah J. Maas. I think she's done a really awesome thing with the fantasy genre, including really powerful female characters, creating a different cast of people. I think the way that her magic elements work are really interesting. Her epic fantasies tend to be really action-packed and invigorating. Some of my favorite books by her are, of course, A Court of Mist and Fury and Empire of Storms. So from her 2 other series, Throne of Glass, and from her A Court of Thorns and Roses series, I've read all of her books. So this was the only book that I haven't read by her. And guys, I was mad at Kingdom of Ash. I used to call it Kingdom of Ass. I still do, because I think that's funny. But this is worse than Kingdom of Ass. Like, Sarah J. Maas, what did you do? Why did you do this? Just, it's so bad. So the premise of this book is that Bryce is this half-fae, half-human girl, and then her friend gets murdered. She has to figure out who murdered her friend, and then she gets paired up with this angel named Hunt, and this is 800 pages of them trying to figure out who did it. It's like a mystery with urban fantasy. I didn't realize this was going to be urban fantasy, and honestly, I don't like it. But then, would you consider Twilight to be an urban fantasy? Let me ponder this for a minute, because it takes place in modern times, but there's vampires and werewolves and shapeshifters and I guess fantastical elements. Like, do I consider Twilight fantasy? Is it urban? I mean, they go to Seattle and Vancouver. Food for thought. That's what goes through my mind. So maybe I don't hate urban fantasy. Maybe I just hate this book. Shall we? Let's get started. Oh, this was dedicated to Taryn, the brightest star in my sky. That's her son. She just gave birth to him like a year ago. I would dedicate a different book to him, but that's just me. Okay. There's all this world building stuff and maps in the beginning that aren't necessary. Page 1, chapter 1. The first line is tabbed, and it says here, there was a wolf at the gallery door. And the reason that I tabbed that is because where else have we seen a wolf first appear in the first scene? Perhaps A Court of Thorns and Roses, when she looks the wolf in the eye. I don't have my copy of A Court of Thorns and Roses with me right now, but I swear if I flip over into the first chapter, it's her making eye contact with a wolf. So, been there, done that, not original. Okay. Then there's this really gross line. So, Bryce's best friend's name is Danica. Danica dies. Okay, there's spoilers in this video, but I mean, it happens in the first 100 pages, so you're not really missing out on much. Okay. The supply closet opened and Danica waved a hand in front of her face. My gym bag stinking up the place. With a black boot, she towed the sagging duffel that held Bryce's dance gear, currently wedged between the mop and bucket. When the fuck did you last wash these clothes? And I highlighted that point because she uses the word fuck, which she never uses in her other she never uses swear words in her other books. So automatically I'm thinking, oh, so this is what makes this adult fantasy, is because she's swearing. Sarah J. Maas claims that this is her first adult fantasy novel. It's not. It's just another new adult fantasy with lots of swearing. Okay, this one made me laugh. Damn it, she loved that calendar. Hottest Bachelors of Crescent City, clothing optional edition. Page 31. So Bryce, she's a little freaky. She wants her calendar full of hot bachelors, and I related to that because I love my firemen. I do. I want my calendar. So like there's this like urban fantasy element that I don't like, because it's like talking about real life things. Like we have fireman calendars and hottest bachelors. It's just not original. It's not. You're not being original, Sarah J. Maas. Okay. Oh. This one, okay, so she goes on a date with this guy named Reed, who never pops up again in the book, so I don't really know why we wasted so much time on him. But she said she had enough God's damned respect not to let him explain, not to accept sex that was merely okay, basically in exchange for meals at a restaurant she could never afford, and a man who had indeed rolled off her and gotten right back on that phone. Which honestly, if you're on your phone after sex, I don't think it's that big of a deal. I don't. My boyfriend is sitting over here and he's laughing at me. I don't think it's a big deal if you like come and then check your Instagram. I mean, it's the 21st century here. Oh my god, this was so cringy. So most of these lines are so cringy, and that's why I tabbed them. This one, page 86. Then he added, Daddy's clout and cash only get you so far, Prince. Daddy's clout and cash in a fantasy novel? Really? That's gross. Like, I don't talk like that with my friends. Like, you got so much clout. I'm 22 years old. I don't even know. I learned recently what the term cake meant. I guess it means booty, but it's fine. Well, it had to be a record, being mistaken for a whore twice within 10 minutes. Alright, Bryce doesn't wear a lot of clothing. People assume she's a whore, stripper, whatever. Listen. I think if you want to wear revealing clothes, go ahead, wear your revealing clothes. But that shouldn't be a plot point in your urban fantasy novel. Like, get over yourself. Like, you don't have to point out that she doesn't wear skimpy clothing all the time. It doesn't matter. It happened, like, this is page 98 that I'm reading from. It's happened to the 97 other pages too. Like, we get it. Bryce is hot. Oh, then we continue on to her appearance. He'd admit it. Males would do a lot of fucked up things for someone who looked like that. Who thinks that? Oh, she is so hot. I do a lot of fucked up things to her. Like, what does that even mean? And you want to rape her because of what she looks like? Why would you put that in the book? That's problematic. Okay, the problem with Sarah J. Maas is that she always creates these uber masculine characters ready to defend a female's honor and all this stuff. But like, do you really have to put something kind of rapey in there? No. I don't even know who she was referring to in that page. I don't even care. Here we go, page 124. Oh my god, the way that he describes Bryce literally makes me so mad, and it's so cringy. Hunt clenched his jaw, but she strode for the front door, hips swishing like she knew precisely how spectacular her ass was. Nobody does that. I don't well, okay, maybe I do, but I don't know. I don't think to myself, wow, I have a spectacular ass. I'm going to swish this right in front of any male presence I see. Oh my god, here is another. Oh, I had a theory. So Micah turns out to be the bad guy in the end, and he's responsible for Danica's death and a bunch of other crazy shit. But I thought, because Sarah J. Maas doesn't pair her main characters with the male protagonist throughout the series, like she's gonna switch up the love interest, right? Because that's what she does. So I was thinking Micah, that's gonna be the guy who she ends up with, and this foreshadowing tells me so on page 129. Micah Domiticus's brown eyes devoured her. His power pressed against her skin, ripped the air from the room, her lungs. Filled the space with midnight storms, sex, and death entwined. I guess Sarah J. Maas doesn't believe in the Oxford comma because that is not grammatically correct, in my opinion. So I'm like, oh my gosh, she has an immediate arousal and sexual feeling from Micah, not from Hunt. So at this point, I'm thinking Micah's the hot one that I gotta look out for. He's the bad boy. Turns out he's the bad guy, really. He has no redeeming qualities. But even when he was the villain, I was still rooting for him. He's kind of like the Darkling in Shadow and Bone. See, I was so mad what Leigh Bardugo did with the Darkling. I was like, oh my god, he deserves more. I don't care that he was pure evil. He was more interesting than any other character in that series. And that's how I feel about Micah, because everyone else in this is bland. Oh. Sarah J. Maas is referencing things that she didn't create in her own world. I have this theory that Crescent City is actually built on the idea of Rome, and I don't think it's bad to take elements of an already existing city and create it into your fantasy world. It's just when you put it too close to it, it loses its creativity. And the parts that she's referring to here with the angels and everything, like, because the archangels rule everything, whatever. But then here she says hell, which is spelled with one L instead of two. Ooh, creative. Hell's 7 territories, each one darker than the last. The hollow, the trench, the canyon, the ravine, the chasm, the abyss, and the worst of them all, the pit. Which, if you've read Dante's Inferno, you know there's 7 levels of hell. So, like, she didn't get that from her own brain. She just read Dante once. Probably not even the whole thing. Okay, then we're back to Micah. Micah growled, "Keep your dick in your pants and your hands to yourself, or you'll find yourself without either for a long while." He's asserting his dominance. Keep your dick in your pants. Okay. Well, he doesn't. Well, actually, he does. So he did follow Micah's orders. Because they never frickin' have sex here. Oh my god, just more cheesy lines. Page 162. It is a symbol, and symbols will always wield power of their own. What does that even mean? What does that mean? Do you know what that means? No! She's trying to be deep and philosophical. Maybe she needed to read the full Dante's Inferno. What is it actually called?
The Divine Comedy.
The Divine Comedy, there it is. Would you pour me more wine, my cupbearer? So on page... Oh, this is a big glass, thank you. Okay. I'm on page 168. Hunt is an asshole. Asshole, not asshole. Should drink some water. Hunt's chuckle skittered along her bones. We've been ordered to get to the bottom of these murders. So I hate to tell you this, sweetheart, but we're about to get real up close and personal. The way he said sweetheart, full of demeaning, condescending swagger, made her grind her teeth. Which, first of all, this isn't an episode of Law & Order SVU. You're not Benson and Stabler, so chill the fuck out. Yeah, sweetheart. Ooh, such a bad, demeaning word. When she literally said that people think she's a whore all the time, but she gets offended when someone calls her sweetheart. Jesus. Okay, so Bryce and Danica, they're party girls, right? They're like the rave girls that I hate. So Bryce and Danica are those EDM girls that have, like, you know, the crochet bras and, like, the neon paint on their faces, and they're like, White Claw. And I'm just like, no. So Bryce was one of those people who, once she set her sights on what she wanted, didn't let anything get in her way. If she wanted to sleep around, she did it. If she wanted to party for 3 days straight, she did it. And if she wanted to catch Danica's murderer, ... she did it. Well, I added the she did it part, but Like, yeah, if you want to party 3 days straight, go for it. If you want to sleep around, go for it. You don't need to talk about it all the time. Like, do I go and tell people all about, oh, this one weekend in Mexico, oh my god, I'm so crazy. Like, no, just live your truth. You don't need to be all crazy about it. Page 197. I don't really know why I tabbed this. It says, I'm getting real bored with you giving me orders and forbidding me to do things. Why did I tab that? Whatever. Maybe it spoke to me in the moment. This was 800 pages of trash, guys. Like, I just suffered. I'm an intellectual. Oh my god. Okay, so they work in an antiquities shop. Bryce does. When she's not partying, she comes to work hungover. She works at this antiquities shop with a fire sprite named Lahaba. And Lahaba likes to watch Netflix, as a fire sprite does. And she says, Bryce says to Lahaba, I'm not the one who's binging a show that's basically porn with a plot. Okay, Sarah J. Maas. What's it called again? Fangs and Bangs? Like, she got a rip on my smut here. Porn with a plot. That's every romance novel ever. This is whatever. That was a quart of Mist and Fury. That's all I'm gonna say. It's like the pot calling the kettle black. Fangs and Bangs is obviously a reference to Twilight too. So like, don't come attacking Stephenie Meyer. That good Mormon girl did nothing to you, Sarah J. Maas. Except for create a book that's better than yours. Oh, okay, this pissed me off. So, page 243. She's talking about this painting in the antiquities shop. And she says, the holy image was known as the Embrace. And the way she describes it beforehand is literally the Kiss by Gustav Klimt, which is a famous painting from Austria. So like the Kiss, the Embrace, you change a few things around and you get by the whole plagiarism thing. But you're not creative, I know. Oh, page 250. So the reason that Bryce gets wrapped up into finding Danica's murderer is because, you know, after she found her friend's body ripped and torn to shreds in her apartment, this demon called the Crystallos goes after her, and he like attacks Micah, the archangel / governor, and she saves Micah. But she doesn't find that out until page 250. She said she had saved Micah Domitis that night. So I'm thinking love. That's how that works. Save you from a demon, fall in love. Oh my god. Sarah J. Maas calls herself out in this one, page 288. So, Bryce calls Hunt an alpha hole, which I guess is different than an asshole, but he is both. And Bryce says, your favorite hobbies are brooding, fighting, and roaring. You've perfected about 30 different types of snarls and growls. You've got a cabal of Cable? You've got a cable of hot friends, and the moment one of you mates, the others fall like dominoes too, and God's help you when you all start having babies. That's literally every male character in all of Sarah J. Maas's books. And it's no different here. Then she goes back to Lahaba, attacking my smut, saying, you sure that Starborn power isn't for finding smut? She called to Lahaba. This one's right up your alley. Don't attack Lahaba the fire sprite. If she wants to watch Fangs and Bangs, you let her. You're the one sleeping around at clubs called the White Raven or something like that. Watching Fangs and Bangs is way less harmful than fucking a stranger in the bathroom of a club. Just saying. Oh my god, and then Micah purrs. Page 312. Micah purred. I would like to take you to dinner, Bryce Quinlan. He's interested in her. He loves her because she saved him. He should have been the male love interest. I don't care that he's evil. You can get past the whole murder stuff.
He was her best friend, right?
Doesn't matter. When you know, you know. So then she says, just because I saved his life, that doesn't mean I'm destined to be his girlfriend. Yes, it does. It'd be like banging a statue anyway. Like she would know. Yes, you are destined to be his girlfriend. His mate. Okay, and then we get a timeline. So humans exist in this book, which doesn't bother me in fantasy novels. Humans can exist all they want. But this exists in the future. It says it's the 12th of April in the year 15035. So we're in a future. So this is not only urban fantasy, this is sci-fi because we're traveling in time ahead to the future. God, I hope there are fae and angels and vampires and werewolves. That'd make my future way better. I would thrive off of immortality. Okay, and then, so my Midwesternness got upset about this because it shouldn't have been a thing. Page 350, Bryce says, thank you. Flynn let out an exaggerated gasp. I think that's the first time you've ever said those words to us. You've never said thank you before? Did your mom not teach you manners? Like, it's not edgy and cool not to say thank you and please. Like, just be nice. Like, you don't have to be a bitch because someone killed your friend. You can still have manners. Bryce can be nice. Rhymes. Okay, then page 393. At the bottom it says, this isn't a crime scene investigative drama, Quinlan. It's not that easy. Except that's exactly what this is. Because Crescent City is really a front for Law and Order Crescent City. Like, that's what this is. It is. I'm so hot. Like, temperature-wise. Oh my god, this is the most cringy part ever. Okay, so Sarah J. Maas included this scene, which I didn't think needed to exist at all. Honestly, I think if she had a better editor, this would be a better book. Who's her editor? It doesn't say who her editor is. But Bloomsbury, you should have gotten her a better one. Anyways, so Hunt needs to go take a shower, and he's staying in her apartment. And he needs to find some soap, and she's like, it's in the linen closet, go find it. And he goes to the linen closet and he thinks he finds her sex toys, but it's really just her plush toys. So I guess she said, because I love them. She gently set Jelly Jubilee in the box and pulled out an orange and yellow toy. This is my Pegasus, Peaches and Dreams. They're sparkly and squishy. And this is Princess Cream Puff. Like, she has all these stuffed animals that she has names for. It's weird. It's weird. It was like 3 pages of her talking about her stuffed animals. I'd rather she talk about vibrators. That's why I think this is new adult. It's not adult. Adults don't have stuffed animals. And if you do, sorry. You have stuffed animals. They better have sentimental value. Oh my god. Okay, page 418. So in the beginning, Bryce gets asked out by Danica's pack. Danica's like a shapeshifter werewolf type situation, which probably got from Twilight. So we can tell that Sarah J. Maas is Team Jacob here, which already makes me like her less. But in the beginning, one part of Danica's pack, this guy named Connor, asks Bryce out. So here on page 418, Connor dies along with Danica. And so Bryce says, until he'd asked her out at last and she had said yes, had started down that road to the wolves, she was Connor's and he was hers. So let me get this straight. If someone asks you out, you're theirs. Like, you're their property. That's their, like, there's no possession in simply asking someone out. That's ridiculous. No. Speaking of property though, another allusion to the Rome stuff. Slaves in this society are tattooed with the phrase SPQM. Do you know what's in Rome everywhere? SPQR. Senate, Public, Republic, something, Senate, People of the Republic. It's Latin, I don't know it. I lived there for 4 months, but I forgot all my Italian and Latin. Oh, so Bryce is also a dancer. Much like Feyre was a painter, and much like Aelin was a reader. They always have to have their hobbies. But Bryce is a dancer, but she doesn't have the right body for it, because I was told my half-human body was too clunky. I was told that my boobs were too big and my ass could be used as an aerial port landing pad. Speaking as someone who is fairly flat-chested, that was offensive. You're just bragging about your big boobs and your big butt and you have a perfect body and you're gorgeous. Stop. It's like people are like, oh my god, I'm just too pretty to be doing this, and it's like insecure. Like, being pretty is so hard. Cry me a river. Okay, I took a couple minutes to refill my wine, but now I'm on page 506. Oh my god, guys, this took me like 10 days to read, like 8 days to read. Like, that's 100 pages a day. That's nothing. Like, I literally could not get through this book. In 8 days, I can read like 3 different books. This took me a minute. Like, I just didn't like it. Oh my god, this is the one that got me. This is the one where I literally started cracking up, like crying, tears down my face. I even like texted my boyfriend about it because I thought it was so stupid. Page 508. Her nipples pebbled under that stare. How do nipples pebble? What does that even mean? Is pebbled like a verb? Like, can things pebble? Does she think she's Shakespeare? Like, you can't just make up words like that. Like, her nipples pebbled under a stare? Girl, no. Oh my god, mansplaining on page 537. Just because I'm male and have an opinion doesn't make me into some psychotic, domineering prick. Actually, it does. Moving on. Oh my god. Physical contact happens on page 580. Ah! It says, and yet Hunt couldn't bring himself to remove his arm to avoid the instinct to breathe in her scent and listen to her soft breathing. Page 590. Oh, is this when oh yeah, this is when the fingering happens. Okay. She goes, this wasn't supposed to happen between us, she whispered. I know, he said, kissing her shaking fingers again. He gently unfurled them, exposing the heart of her palm. He pressed his mouth there too, but thank fucking it did. Listen. Then Hunt says, I have plans for this beautiful ass, Bryce. Filthy, filthy plans. He just fingers her on the couch. They don't even have intercourse. There is no intercourse in this entire book, which is completely disappointing because all her other books have great sex scenes, and this one is just, there's a little fingering on the couch and I'm suddenly in love. Yeah, and then she talks about her partying ways on page 608. She and Danica had been no better than two addicts, inhaling and snorting everything they could get their hands on. So there's this new drug introduced called synth, which is basically cocaine. And it like, I mean it like makes people crazy and kill other people. But so I guess it's not like cocaine. I don't know, I've never done it before. I just feel like there are so many drugs in this book that are so similar to drugs in the real world that it's hard to separate this fantasy world from our own world because Sarah J. Maas is not creative. Also, the fact that she named one of her characters Danica. If you watch NASCAR, all you can think of is Danica Patrick. Or if you're from Wisconsin, you know that Aaron Rodgers is dating Danica Patrick. That's my sports reference of the day. I'm good for the rest of the week. And then they continue saying, Danica did some fucked up stuff, Bryce. You know that. You always knew it and laughed it off. Look the other way. I'm not so sure Hunt was lying about that. Yes! Okay, when your friend is a drug addict, you don't play into the... Oh my god, I feel like I'm devolving right now. I look like the addict. I'm devolving. I'm looking less and less pretty right now. But Danica did some fucked up shit. She was on drugs. Honestly, I didn't like Danica at all. I didn't really understand their friendship. I thought it was stupid. Ugh. So Bryce's brother is Rune. Rune is the only like good character in this book. But there's one thing he says here on page 642. Based upon the laws of the Fae, as approved by the Asteri, which I never fully understood what they were, Rune charged on, she is my property, my father's, and I do not permit her to trade herself in exchange for Hunt. Because Hunt was gonna be sold off as, because Hunt is a slave. He's an angel slave because he did some naughty things that he wasn't supposed to be doing and then became a slave. And she was gonna trade her place to be a slave for him. And then Rune is like, no, 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 she's my property according to Fae laws, which is an easy cop-out for her to get out of that. And then she says to Rune, you are dead to me. He saves her life, and she's like, you don't exist in my life anymore. Crazy. If my brother saved my life, I'd be like, oh my god, a 12-year-old did that? Then we find out, Micah, you killed Danica and the pack. And then I was like, really? Micah, you were the bad boy that I wanted to end up with Bryce. And then afterwards, I still thought that. Except she ends up killing him and then burns his ashes and then vacuums him up. Because in urban fantasy, we have vacuums. Oh my god, here's the possession thing again on page 708. She was his and he was hers, and he should have told her that. Should have told her in the comitium lobby that she was the only person who mattered, who would ever matter to him, and he'd find her again. Even if it took him 1,000 years, he'd find her and do everything Sandriel had mocked him about. That's a run-on sentence. Edit that. Also, possession, kind of misogynistic, not into that. You're not someone's person. Like, I'm really feeling kind of tipsy. There's music in my head, so it's okay. Page 718. We're almost there. There's 799 pages. She could have written one more to make it 800, but she didn't. He said, Hunt growled, because all angels do. Fuck the protocols. He pointed to the screens. Those assholes have enchantments and panic rooms, and in villages, the people on the streets have nothing. Okay, whatever. Oh, and now we're gonna talk about Hunt's, male brutality and big size, even though she hasn't seen his dick yet, on page 728. Oh wait, no, she's talking about some other male. She'd forgotten how enormous he was in his form. All the shifters were at least 3 times the size of normal animals. Shifters! Where have I seen that? Maybe the Twilight Saga? Page 748. Even her archangels couldn't protect her from Athalar, which is Hunt's last name, from what he felt for Bryce. What does he feel for her? She's hot. That's what he likes about her. Oh my god, the cheesiness. Bryce's friend's name is Fury. Fury didn't stop her prep. Bryce was a ghost for a long while, Hunt. She pretended she wasn't, but she was. The helicopter finally pulled into air. You brought her back to life. So this world has helicopters. This guy who's an asshole to Bryce for the last 6 weeks is suddenly the one who cures her from depression. Okay. He'd been waiting for her from the moment he'd been born. What? What? Page 778. He'd been waiting for her from the moment he'd been born. Do I need to say anything else? Can we all acknowledge that that's a weird thing to write in a book? Okay. Okay, maybe I'm cynical. I don't really know if I believe in soulmates. My mom's been married 3 times. My dad's been married twice. Like, it's so cheesy. Like, you're not, born to be destined for someone. That's just so bizarre to me. And maybe I am cynical, but, my last tab. is on page 786. Hunt smiled, going half hard again at the sass in her tone. He gets half hard because she's sassy. So I guess you can go half hard. But at the sass in her tone, that's what gets you going? Not her tits, not her ass, not her intelligence. Her sass. That's what really got him going. In the end, they don't even consummate their love. All the smut in this book is literally just fingering. That is so not... 800 pages, guys. 800 pages of this BS that I put up with. Why? Why did you all make me read this? I'm upset now. Now I'm mad. Now I'm an angry drunk. No, I'm just kidding. Sarah J. Maas, I will not be this was not a personal attack on Sarah J. Maas. Just an FYI. I'm sure she's a lovely human being. I mean, her books are published in 37 languages. A New York native, Sarah lives near Philadelphia with her husband, son, and dog. She probably lives a very wholesome life. Good for her. I have a hate-love relationship with her. Love some of her books, hated this one. So, we'll see how this goes in life. Will I read this series? No, I'm not buying. This was $16 I'll never get back. So, thanks for sticking around for this long if you've made it this far. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more from me, please hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you next time. I'm so drunk.